Welcome to your deep dive on Cloud VPN. You've sent over some interesting stuff from Google Cloud about this.
Ah,
So
yes.
we're really tunneling into this whole world of secure networking in the cloud today.
Right.
And it seems like you're on this quest to become a digital security expert.
Well, it's more important now than ever, especially with so many businesses going hybrid or even fully multi-cloud.
Absolutely. I noticed their document uses the phrase securely extend your peer network. And I gotta say, that sounds a bit like jargony to me, to be honest.
Yeah, you're right. That's a mouthful. Let's ditch the technical terms, okay? Imagine Cloud VPN like this. It's like building a secret passageway, a tunnel, but for your data.
Yeah.
This tunnel directly connects your private network, maybe that's your office, to all your stuff on Google Cloud.
Got it, got it.
And because it's encrypted, it's like a digital Fort Knox.
So instead of data just flying out there in the open internet, it's going through this secure encrypted tunnel. Okay, that makes sense. But why go through all this trouble of, building this digital fortress?
Well, data is gold these days. Think about all those important files you handle. Financial records, customer data, all of it needs to be protected. Cloud VPN makes sure only the right people can access that information no matter where they are.
It's like that peace of mind in our digital world, right?
Exactly,
And
exactly.
now I did see that Google offers two types of cloud VPN, HAVPN and classic VPN.
Yeah,
Kind of feels like choosing between regular coffee and espresso, right?
right.
Both will wake you up, but one's got a little more oomph.
I like that analogy. You hit the nail on the head. HAVPN is your high-performance option.
Huh.
Think 99.99% reliability, like having a backup generator for your connection.
Oh, wow.
If one part has an issue, the other takes over, boom, seamlessly. You wouldn't even know anything happened.
So it's like that smooth operator of the VPN world.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about classic VPN? Is it still in the game when it comes to this whole uptime competition?
Absolutely. Classic VPN is reliable. Think 99.9% reliability for many setups. Yeah, it might not have all the latest bells and whistles,
Right.
but it gets the job done reliably.
Okay, so it's dependable, might be missing a little bit of the flash, maybe.
Right.
But looking at the specs, it seems HAVPN has some extra tricks up its sleeve.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
For example, there's IPv6 support. That's the latest in internet addressing.
Yeah.
And HAVPN's ready for it. Future-proofing.
Wow, okay.
And for organizations dealing with tons of data,
Yeah.
the performance difference can be huge.
So if you're dealing with the digital equivalent of rush hour traffic, HAVPN is like that fast lane.
Yes, exactly.
Got it. Now, I did notice the document mentioned bandwidth limits. 250,000 packets per second per tunnel, which they say is like 1 to 3 GBPs.
Yeah.
Can you break that down for those of us who don't speak fluent bandwidth? What does that actually mean?
Sure, sure. It sounds way more intimidating than it is. Basically, Google's put some smart limits in place to make sure everyone has a good experience, right? It's like a highway with speed limits. Might seem annoying, but it prevents massive traffic jams, keeps the data flowing.
So it's not about Google being stingy with the speed. It's about making sure the whole network stays healthy.
Exactly, 100%. Now, you'll also see IPsec and Ike mentioned, and those sound like something out of Star Wars.
They do. Yeah, I was wondering about those.
But these are actually the unsung heroes of how Cloud VPN keeps things secure.
Okay, break it down for us.
So they're like the secret code language that your data uses to travel through that secure tunnel we talked about.
Got it.
This makes sure no one can eavesdrop on your info as it goes from your network to the cloud, like a digital lock and key.
So it's like whispering secrets in a crowded room. Only the person you're whispering to can understand you.
100%. That's a great way to put it. It's all about that extra layer of protection, keeping your data safe and sound.
I like it. But what about when something goes wrong? Does Google have like digital safety nets in place to protect data?
They do. That's where dead peer detection comes in. DPD for short.
NPD, okay.
It's like a watchdog for your VPN connection.
A watchdog, really? I'm picturing a very alert Doberman guarding my data here.
Love it. And if that VPN tunnel goes quiet, DPD jumps into action, knows something's up.
So it's the first line of defense against any surprise interruptions.
Exactly. It triggers a failover to other healthy tunnels, so your data keeps moving without missing a beat. And most importantly, it keeps those unwanted intruders out.
That's reassuring. It's like having a digital bodyguard for your data.
Precisely. They've got your back. digitally speaking.
So Google's got our back with these security measures. That's good to know. But
Yeah.
it's not just about building a tunnel, right? It's about making sure it stays secure even when things go a bit haywire.
100%. And they've really thought of everything. Like, remember how we were talking about bandwidth limits to keep things running smoothly?
Yeah.
Well, they've also addressed those pesky firewalls that can sometimes be a pain.
Firewalls, yeah, they're like that necessary evil in the digital world, right? So how does Google deal with those?
They use a few clever tricks, one being UDP encapsulation.
UDP encapsulation, okay.
Yeah, sounds complicated, but it's basically like disguising your VPN traffic so it can slip through those firewall checkpoints undetected.
So it's like giving your data a secret identity to get past the digital bouncers.
You got it. And the best part, your data is still encrypted, totally secure, even with that disguise. It's just a really smart way to make sure your VPN connection works without the firewall throwing a wrench in the gears.
That's impressive. It seems like Google really thought of everything to make sure our data gets where it needs to go. But, we've talked a lot about security, different VPN types, firewall workarounds, but what stood out to me in this material is how Google sees Cloud VPN as much more than just a point-to-point connection.
Right.
They're talking about building entire data transfer networks. It's pretty ambitious.
It is, and that's what's so exciting about it. Cloud VPN isn't just a simple tunnel. With their network connectivity center, you can connect multiple locations, like offices all over the place, through this secure network hosted on Google Cloud.
So instead of relying on the public internet, businesses could create their own private, super secure network within Google Cloud.
Exactly. And because it's powered by Google's infrastructure, you benefit from their top-notch security and scalability. As your business grows, your network can too.
Okay, that's a game changer for businesses, especially those with multiple locations. It's like having your own private internet, custom built for your needs.
You got it. It's a whole new world of secure and efficient data transfer. Very cool stuff.
Very cool. Now, something else that caught my eye was this whole bring your own IP thing, BYOIP.
BYOIP, right?
Is it really as simple as it sounds?
Pretty much. It's
Yeah.
perfect for those who want total control over their network addresses. So instead of Google assigning you IPs, you can use your own, the ones you already have.
Okay, I can see how that'd be good for consistency, but why is that so important? What's the big deal with using your own IP addresses?
Well, many companies have systems, apps, even security protocols tied to their existing IPs, right?
Right.
So changing those would be a nightmare, like changing your phone number that everyone already knows.
Yeah, total headache.
Exactly. BYOIP helps avoid that.
Yeah.
Businesses can connect their existing networks to Google Cloud without having to reconfigure everything
Mhm.
or compromise what they've already built.
That's clever. It's all about giving businesses the flexibility to move to the cloud without sacrificing what they already have.
All right.
Now, the document also mentions these active-active and active-passive routing options.
Right.
And to be honest, I'm a bit fuzzy on the difference. Can you walk us through it?
Of course, of course. It's all about how your data actually travels through those VPN tunnels and how Google makes sure it keeps flowing, even if there's a hiccup along the way.
So like having a backup plan for when your GPS freaks out and tries to send you into a lake.
Exactly. Imagine you have two routes to get somewhere, okay?
Okay.
With active routing, both rates are being used, sharing the load so you get there as quickly as possible. If one route gets jammed up, the other one picks up the slack, you wouldn't even notice.
So it's about maximizing efficiency, keeping things moving smoothly.
Exactly. Now, active-passive is a bit different. It's like having a designated backup route.
Okay.
Your main route handles the traffic, while the secondary one is on standby, ready to go if needed. If something happens, boom, the backup takes over. You might experience a little delay, but you'll still get there.
It's like having a co-pilot ready to take the wheel, right?
Exactly. Both options make sure your data keeps moving, just in different ways.
Makes sense. Are there any downsides to using one over the other?
That's a great question. It really depends on what you need and what's important to you.
Okay.
Active offers the best performance, like top-notch redundancy. But it can be more complex to set up, like a delicate dance. Active-passive is simpler to manage, like a well-marked path. You might hit a little delay if you need to switch over, but it's generally easier to handle.
So it's like choosing the right tool for the job. No one size fits all.
Exactly. And it's cool how Google factors this into their recommendations. For instance, with a single HAVPN gateway, they suggest active-passive routing. Keeps things simple, but still reliable.
Makes sense.
But if you're using multiple gateways, for even more redundancy, then they recommend going all in on active to really maximize bandwidth.
So it's about choosing the right setup for your specific needs, really tailoring it.
Yeah, exactly. And, while we've been talking up HAVPN, classic VPN still has its place, you know.
Right? It's not obsolete just yet.
Exactly. So that old reliable friend might not be the flashiest, but always there for you.
Right, right. And the document actually pointed out that classic VPN is still a good fit for simpler network setups, especially those using static routing where those IP addresses stay the same.
Absolutely. And for organizations that maybe don't need the absolute highest levels of availability or performance, Classic VPN is a more budget-friendly choice without sacrificing security.
That's great that Google provides these different options to fit different needs and budgets.
Definitely.
So, wrapping up, it's clear that Google's built this really versatile set of tools for secure connections in the cloud, wouldn't you say?
100%. They've really put a lot of thought into what their users need, different security levels, availability, performance, all customizable.
It's impressive.
And with things like Network Connectivity Center and BYOIP, it's clear they're shaping the future of networking, really pushing the boundaries.
Absolutely. Well, that's your deep dive on Cloud VPN. Hopefully, you're feeling ready to explore the world of secure networking, take charge of your data.
And remember, the best way to learn is by doing. Check out Google Cloud's documentation, try their free trial, see how you can use Cloud VPN to really strengthen your own network.
Great advice. Thanks for joining us, and thank you, our listeners, for tuning in.
It's been a pleasure. Until next time.